If I could be young again, how old would I be? Hello, y'all. I'm Diana Brienne. Well, as many of you know, I'm pushing 70 years old. And sometimes I say to myself, I don't feel almost 70. I feel about 31. Actually, I used to say I was 29 forever, but I kind of bumped it up a couple years. I like the age of 31. 31 was really a great year for me, as most of my years were great years for me. And it just happens to be 31 kind of stands out to me. So I got to thinking about how do other people see themselves and how do you see yourself? What age do you see yourself as? What age, if you could go back in time, if you're older like me, what age would you go back to? Not necessarily the situation, that you were in at the time, but what age? And, it varies. I've talked to people, and the older that one gets, often the older the age that they pick is. Like if they're 90, they might say 40. If you're 70, you might say 30. If you're 50, you might say 20 or 25. My 20s were great years. And yet there was something about 31 or my 30s. I really loved my 30s. I really, really enjoyed my 30s so much. And my 40s, well, I was busy raising my small children. And I loved my 40s. They were wonderful, 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 wonderful years. And yet they were wonderful from a different perspective. I loved being a mom. I am a mom. I loved being a mom of those wonderful small children that, just adored you, adored me. Oh, mommy, 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 mommy. I love you, love you, love you. And I loved, the time when my husband and I first got married, that first year of marriage. Oh my goodness, that was so magical. And, my 20s were, I think when you're in your 20s, you're still trying to find yourself. You're trying to find your career. You're trying to find your way. And yet my 20s were wonderful too. It was just a different time. You don't know yourself quite as well. You're finding out about the world. You're finding out how the world works in your 20s. But 31, it just seems like it all came together for me. It's just all coming together at that time. And I think everyone kind of has an age in their mind, if they were to go back. But of course, I love the age that I'm at. I love being healthy and fit, and I enjoy my life. I've enjoyed my life at every stage and every age. Of course, I've had, everybody gets problems. I've had, challenges in almost any decade of my life. Probably every decade of my life, we get challenges. I mean, that's just life. But I think, we find ourselves looking at ourselves in the mirror and seeing an image of who we are as maybe not the age that we are. Does that make sense? I like I said, when I look in the mirror, I see 31. Now, what other people see when they look at me may be totally different, but that's kind of how I see myself. And yet I love being, my age, almost 70. I love, love, love it. It's wonderful. So maybe when I'm 100, if you ask me that, I might say, oh, I wish I was 70 again. I mean, we learn so much. Every age brings something different. It brings new opportunities, new challenges, new lessons, new people. And I think in my 30s, I still had pretty much everybody in my life that, close to, I think I had everybody in my life that I'd grown up with. And my mom was alive, my sister was alive, my brother, my grandmother, my grandfather, my daddy. So, all those people. But then my children came later. And so I'm so grateful for them. I record a lot. I've been editing and copying a lot of my old VHS home videos from over 45 years. And they're wonderful. They're just wonderful too. And I've got them going on in the living room right now. My husband bought me this little VHS converter to digital. And so I've pulled all these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands really, of VHS tapes out of the attic little by little. And the last probably year, I've been copying and then editing, and I've posted a lot of them up on YouTube, edited out, and just, some of the wonderful moments from my life. 45 years of videos, that's a lot of videos. And you get to look back upon your life and you go, wow, look at the hairstyles and look at the places and look at the people and look at where I've been and look at all the experiences. I highly recommend taking home movies and putting them away. So someday when you're older, you get to reflect, because you may remember that you had a wonderful time, or you may remember the people, but often you forget the majority of the details, and it's wonderful to look back. And I'm so grateful that I had the foresight back then to pick up one of those great big old video cameras and start recording. I did. I think I paid $2,500 for my first camera. I really do. I think it was $2,500, and it was the kind you strap on your back with the big battery pack. And I would carry it around, and cords everywhere and all that, And people say, why are you taking so much video? Now they're the very same people that says, hey, can you make me a copy of the video? Yeah. See, you can see it over there. Let me see. Yeah, I'll show it to you in a second. Yeah, when my kids were little, I'm copying that video. And then like when my husband and I've been in Europe, it's got a blank spot on it now. You can see I'm over there recording. So they go from one tape to the other, like there. My son is playing with his little fire truck, and there's my husband coming home. So it's just wonderful copying old home videos and remembering all the wonderful times. And yet I cherish this time. So don't think because I'm saying 31 that I don't cherish the time that I have, because I truly, truly do cherish all the time periods of my life. And when I'm 80, if I'm blessed enough to be 80, I hope I cherish being 80 and 90 and 100. I don't take any day for granted. I just cherish every day. Every day I cherish. And yet I think of myself as 31. So what age would you be if you were to say you could pick any age? And I'm not saying the situation that you were in. It might be a totally different situation. You might say, well, I wouldn't have had my kids then. Well, if I couldn't have my kids then, I wouldn't want to be 31 again. But I'm just saying the age itself. I love the age, but I would want all the wonderful in it too. I guess you can't have it all, but at the same time. But yeah, 31 was a great year. Okay, so what age would you be? Well, from my house to yours, may God bless you. I hope you like, share, subscribe, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.